Welcome to The Market Mindset. We are the hub for news, results, and CEO interviews focusing the junior commodities sector. We provide market analysis and perspective that will help position you for solid returns. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the notification bell. For more info, you can visit our website. All links are in the description below. Now let's get into today's video.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Digging Deeper. A real treat. We're going to be speaking with Ross McElroy, who's a director and chairman over at SKRR. This is very interesting. We've got a Prospectors and Developer Association of Canada award winner of the Bill Dennis Award in 2014. We're also going to be joined by Sherman Dahl, I believe, who's the director and CEO of the company. But we're grateful to be able to talk to you as well. And I think the first question I'd asked you was, someone of your pedigree and background, what is it about SKRR that you really like, that drew you to this project?
I would say, simply put, the portfolio of properties that we have, I think give us a real opportunity to make world-class discoveries, both precious metals and base metals, in what I think is, in a lot of people's opinion, the best mining jurisdiction in the world, that being the province of Saskatchewan. So the geologic potential's there, and you really can't work in a better environment. So those are really what I think are the key highlights.
And it's been a pretty overlooked area too. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think like only 1% of exploration for gold in Saskatchewan or something like that. Like, it's been relatively untouched.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty true statement. There's been a lot of exploration and development and world-class production on other commodities. Uranium, obviously, something I've been involved with to a great degree, but potash, coal, even base metals. You look at the Flin Flon area right on the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border, extremely important mining jurisdiction. Gold, it seems to have never really caught the attention, and it should, because you do have the potential for multi-million ounce high-grade deposits, such as the CV Santoy operation that SSR Mining has underway up in the province. And one of the features we talk about, the same geologic feature that controls a lot of the mineralization in the province, is the Trans Hudson Corridor hosting the Homestake mine, 45 million ounce producer down in South Dakota, the same features. So this is really why we think we have the potential to find major gold deposits as well.
So this is a big thing that I noticed on the website, and making that kind of similarities without getting too technical, and I know you certainly could. It's for a generalist who's looking and you go, well, what are some of those similarities that you have at this point? And I know you've done some airborne surveys, you've done some work as well. What is it that you're seeing right now?
Well, I think we are seeing the beginnings of a lot of, at least the earmarks of hosting big deposits. We see grade. Number one, Saskatchewan's always had high-grade gold. That's not an uncommon feature. All of our properties have a certain amount. Some of them have historic deposits on them, that really haven't been worked since the price of gold fell off the cliff back in the, what would it be, the early 90s. In mid 90s. So, it's been a long time since a lot of the properties have seen work, and yet we were able to pick up ground and kind of pick up where people left off. So I think that, just speaking really general, I would say that all the properties have the potential to make major discoveries, which is, I'm pretty particular in the ground that we select, and really it has to have some strong merit, and I think that all of our properties in the portfolio have that.
And you kind of mentioned, I'm just going to reiterate it, like Saskatchewan. I mean, people would remember, Saskatchewan Potash and Agrium now, which is Nutrien, which is a massive company. Saskatchewan has had a huge history with natural resources. And when you're talking about an area to work in, I'm sure you're finding it. They're definitely on side for a good partner to work with.
Yeah, really, there's not a more true statement out there than that. It's consistently ranked in the top tier of mining jurisdictions of the world by assorted surveys. The Fraser Institute, I think, had it probably number 3 or 4 last year. The Mining Journal ranked at number 1. in 2020. And if you just look at the track record over the last several years, it's always, considered a top jurisdiction because the government wants to develop the resources, and the people, the local people, are generally on board and want to see development. The resource sector is what really drives the province of Saskatchewan, and I think more so than anywhere else I've seen, you really get a lot of buy-in at all levels.
And you've got a great mix, like a portfolio of assets, because I think people are starting to see the story for gold. And I mean, I'll tie it in with, Russia pegging the ruble to gold. Now who saw that coming? And that was just, over a week ago. So more and more people are becoming aware of why certain countries were certainly starting to stockpile gold. Whenever we look at a resurgence in mining again, usually people first look at gold. So it's great to have the gold there, but you also have that kind of battery energy metal side as well, which is certainly growing in people's mindset as well.
Indeed, obviously investors would have probably seen the price of nickel increase, orders of magnitude over the last month. But I think that the key is that battery metals are hugely important as we're grappling with climate change and trying to find solutions, workable solutions into working with clean, green energy. Obviously, batteries are hugely important. Nickel's key. We've staked properties with high-grade nickel showings on it, and even backed up by drilling. The other element or commodity that I think is a bit of a sleeper, and yet should be on everybody's radar, is zinc. We staked a historic deposit that has great room for growth in size, and could easily turn into a significant zinc player. Zinc is at 16-year highs right now in the price. So all the commodities seem to be moving in the right direction, but those base metals, particularly those associated around battery metals, are I think hugely strategic and important these days.
Excellent. And we've got Sherman as well, so we'll add Sherman into the stream and we'll ask him a few questions. Hello, Sherman. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing?
Everything's doing great. We were just going through how you enticed Ross over to the project, and he was someone with his kind of pedigree, what he saw, what he likes about what you guys are up to. We've talked a bit about the jurisdiction and how easy it is to work with, but this is a newer. I mean, you're about a year and a half old company.
Correct.
Yeah. So clean new company, lots of room to grow. Why don't you give us kind of your kind of overall vision here?
Sure. Well, it's a great point to bring up. Is how did I possibly attract the quality of Ross McElroy?
Yes.
Yeah. As human beings, we've got this wonderful ability, unlike other animals, to create long-term friendships. And Ross is an incredible geologist, obviously, and he's also a wonderful human being. So, Ross and I have been doing business together for many, many years. And through various fishing trips and different things of the sort in northern Saskatchewan, as many people know, Ross has had an incredible success in the uranium business in Saskatchewan, and the Athabasca Basin is actually a bit of a big formation that actually came out of the Trans Hudson Corridor, which we all know with evidence of homestake deposits and CV Santoy. This is an area that's extremely enriched with mineralization. Saskatchewan is a treasure trove of assets. It's Ted Olson, who's done some work with us in the Boreal Forest, calls it the largest shopping center in the world. You've got oil and gas, you've got gold, you've got zinc,
potash, zinc. Yeah.
It really is. And so we all know that the new petroleum going forward in this electrical world are things like zinc and copper and tin and graphite. And so we're really excited about our base metal assets in Saskatchewan. But going back to Ross, many people may not know that the SK stands for Saskatchewan, and the first R is for Ross McElroy, and the second one for Ron Netolinsky. Now, if Ron was on the call, I would say the first R is for Ron Netolinsky and the second R is for Ross McElroy. But and it really was attracting the geological brilliance of people like Ross McElroy and Ron Netolinsky, who intimately knows Saskatchewan, and then marry that up with the capital market strength of people like myself who've been in the investment business for 25 years plus. It also reflected by our advisory board. Mike Halverson's one of our key advisors. Mike's the chairman of Orezone Gold.
Yeah,
Mike's a very seasoned high net worth investor. Rarely does Mike go on advisory boards or board as on the board of directors. So we've really attracted people that have this longer term vision that there's a lot more to explore in Saskatchewan. Ross was quoted one time saying that I think there's 1/1000th of the drilling in the Saskatchewan Trans Hudson Corridor compared to the Abitibi. So you look at Saskatchewan on a Google Earth, you look down and you see the CB deposit and you see the Flin Flon ore body, and you go, okay, well, that's it? No, these are greenstone belts that will host multiple deposits. They just haven't been uncovered yet. If you did the same Google Earth looking at the Abitibi, there'd be over 100 mines.
yes.
We know that Saskatchewan is underexplored. And, with that as our overall theme, we had this relationship with Ross McElroy. So we funded a shell together, and we've, carefully collected, one of the biggest land positions in Saskatchewan. And we've been actively drilling for, 2 solid years. And, so we're pretty excited about what we're doing.
And I always ask people, like, is there urgency? What's going on now? And I think you're waiting on results. So there is some urgency as to, I know people always say, Andrew, you can't keep on saying they could be any day, but literally we're in that situation with assay labs and all that being so backed up that these could come out next week, 2 weeks from now. They're coming up soon.
They're coming out very soon. Yeah. We know because you can track these labs now online, and so the assays are rolling in. There's some work to do in QP and QC, just to ensure accuracy and different things of the sort. But we anticipate within 2 weeks that we should have results out on the Olsen property.
I can't reiterate enough. People always say we're at the assay results are key. That's what really tells the story. But in order to have a clean company with a shell that has a vehicle that can make money, and to attract like the board and the team you've put together, that is very, very difficult. And that doesn't guarantee success, but it certainly wipes out a lot of risk off the table when people are looking at projects. At least as far as I'm concerned, when I look at things, is if you have interesting projects, they're going to, excite interesting, talented people. And when you can get 2 people that are very thoroughly well-versed in Saskatchewan, that they've worked there, they know what they're looking at as far as the geology, they know what to expect as far as permitting. I mean, it makes life, a lot of hurdles can be jumped very quickly.
100%. Yeah, no, I mean, Saskatchewan is, it is an area that does take time and money to drill these things. And, you do have to have a very strong team that's committed to it longer term. And because you have to understand the geological formations that are there, which is the work of Ross McElroy and Ron Edlinski. But you also have to be able to raise money and to hang in there. And SSR Mining, one of the giants in Saskatchewan, one of the top mining companies in Canada. It's really a cash-rich major, looking for ounces. And they're clearly probably watching what we're doing. Yeah. And they know better than anybody. It takes time and it takes money to develop these assets. I mean, they've probably spent 20 million plus on their Fisher property. We know from some of our own intel that they're aggressively drilling the Amisk property. So they're looking for assets, and they've got an advantage over us because they've got an operating cash flow business that's kicking off a lot of cash. Whereas the explorers, the crazy ones like me and Ross, we have to go out and, raise money and find these things.
But the wonderful thing is that step, this R&D, I kind of call it, is where you can have explosive growth. And for those that are looking to fight inflation, I always say if the cost of food is inflating, then buy potash, buy fertilizer. Yeah. You can help your book or your investments by looking and taking risks, but calculated risks. And whenever you can have the team, you've got a good project in a jurisdiction that, as far as I think people are kind of agreeing, is miners want and producers want good locations, to say the least. They're coming home a bit because the cost of transportation and shipping ore around is super expensive in shipping containers. Two, just the chain of custody of these minerals and who has them is becoming very, very core moving forward. So you've got a lot of pluses and check marks dealt with already for someone who wants to have a bit of a risk component for their portfolio.
Yep, we obviously, we agree 100%, and we think, Saskatchewan is overlooked, and you can steam off to all kinds of other countries, but Saskatchewan offers a real stable environment, a government that the resource, is really trying to encourage resource investment as well in the north. And very interesting what's going on in Flin Flon. I mean, the Hud Bay mines are kind of winding down, and so there's a lot of interest in what we're doing in, for example, Manson Bay. Manson Bay is very close to the Flin Flon ore body, and it's very interesting because it's more of a gold enriched deposit.
Okay. Yep.
Whereas in Flin Flon ore body, it's more of a copper enriched deposit. But that deposit in Flin Flon actually spun out about 6 million ounces of gold, in addition to all the copper that it produced over the many years that it created Hud Bay Minerals.
Yeah.
So, and that ore body, there's just no way that there's just that ore body.
No.
So MS come in clusters, as we all know.
Yeah.
And so we know that there's other hidden treasures, and that's so Manson Bay could be very interesting and would make a huge difference for that community, and creates a stable place for miners to invest.
And this is a great slide here that's showing that corridor. And I mean, this thesis holds true. I mean, it's very compelling and exciting when you look at Homestake down below, far below. But if you have that same sort of thing that we usually hear about the Abitibi, which kind of goes left to right here, if we were to go across Canada, this, this thesis that, the north-south, very compelling.
It is. It's very compelling, and we're not the only ones that know that. I mean, there's others. Yeah. Foran is being very aggressive. SSR is being very aggressive. So yeah, we think SKRR is a wonderful entry point with a really low market cap. But as we all know, in the last 6 months, it's been tough on these juniors. It's actually been easier to raise. It's been okay to raise money, but it's hard to get your stock price moving, kind of thing.
Yes, and I guess maybe we'll leave with one thought, because I mean, you have lots of market experiences. What do you think it takes? Like, in the past, it would be, commodities take off, and then it would trickle down. It would be like major producers would get some love, and then it's okay. We need to filter money into explorers. Do you see it kind of happening out that way as well, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're always going to have, the larger institutional money is going to be looking for, for the more senior names, and I think we always do get that trickle down effect. And, I think in the mid market right now, there's a lot of low hanging fruit. And, for example, one of our companies that we love is Orezone Gold.
Yep.
And Orezone is in Burkina Faso, which is interesting. That the rock in Burkina is the same age rock as it is in Saskatchewan. But there's a company that's going into production in the next 6 months, and run by Patrick Downey, and Mike Halverson's the chairman. Incredible value at $1.50, $1.60 a share. So as long as you've got some low hanging fruit in the mid, it makes us somewhat less attractive, because
yeah,
you got an easy double with Orezone. Don't quote, but an easy double with Orezone. But you can buy SKR at 10 cents. That's a 10 bagger.
Yeah,
but the risk reward right now. I can see why people are, chomping up the mid-tier, the $150, $200 million market cap companies are probably slightly more attractive from a risk reward point of view than some of the juniors. Now, if you are going to buy one of the juniors, then you better buy one that's got great people, great projects, and has cash and it has the wherewithal to make it through these. That's why we think we stand out. But I think you're right. It will trickle down. Like I don't buy majors. I do buy the mid-tier ones.
Yep.
But I buy lots of the juniors. So, I think it does. It always trickles down. And when you can't find really good deals on an Orezone or a Pan Global or some of these mid-tier ones, then you tend to start, but there's always the guys that are willing to finance, even lower. We all do a little bit of both. So
yes, no, for sure. And I mean, like I said, you can actually get rid of a lot of companies pretty quick, or at least you can prioritize them. Let's just say, whenever you look at the quality of team management, advisory board, and then like clean shell that can make money, that's that has the ability to move. So you can get narrowed down, which, like you said, good projects attract good people. You've got both those already. You've got a good jurisdiction. Okay, great. Let's see where the value takes us.
And I think what the juniors have to do is we always have to perform. So having good drill results, doing for example, our Watts Lake zinc asset, we're going to be very aggressively going out and trying to JV that. So if we could JV Watts Lake with a major zinc producer, that would put another feather in our cap. So we just have to work really hard this year to enhance the story, enhance the value. And now we've got all the properties. We just need to have some success on those properties.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Sherman, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Also, thank you so much, Ross McElroy. There's news coming out soon. And once again, it's very compelling as far as thesis, as far as the team, and the ability for the share structure to make some money. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Well, I really appreciate it. And as they would say in Saskatchewan, go Riders.
Good stuff.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Today's company presentations are brought to you by Red Cloud Financial Services and the team at Red Cloud Vancouver. Red Cloud Financial Services is your preeminent source for mining industry opportunities. The team provides a unique tailored marketing program dedicated to reaching the right people from its mining-focused global network, giving clients access to industry-leading events and conferences, retail and institutional marketing, plus an in-house growth-driven digital agency. Red Cloud Financial Services has access to some of the mining industry's most notable companies and CEOs. Tune in every Thursday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, 1:15 p.m. Pacific for weekly corporate presentations. For more information, visit redcloudfs.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined with Kerem Usenmez, who is the president, CEO, and director over at METALLUM Resources. I apologize if I mispronounced your last name, Kerem. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. The first name is Kerem also.
Kerem. Oh, my God.
It's unusual.
2 strikes. I really apologize.
No worries. It's all good.
We had a chance to speak a little bit earlier, so really looking forward to seeing what you're presenting here as far as the value proposition, which there certainly is, and we'll get into that in a minute. But what attracted you to this project? Why zinc, and where you guys are at like right now today?
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me. I'm a geological engineer. I was actually working towards another project to raise funds when I got the call to be included in this really exciting project over a year and a half ago. Simon Ridgway, who founded our company and did the deal by acquiring this asset. It's an advanced project, zinc and copper polymetallic with some precious metals in Ontario, very close to the highway. Fantastic location, but it is at feasibility level stage. When I looked at it, it looked too good to be true. It's overlooked. It's small, but one of the highest grade zinc deposits in the world with a very, very clean concentrate. It is an old mine that produced, with today's dollars, $2 billion worth of materials over its 10-year mine life before it was shut down in 1998. So since then, well, prior to that, they stopped doing any exploration. No exploration was done. So our team acquired that last year, about 12 months ago. And we converted the previously done 2019 Australian feasibility study with updated cost to today's numbers. It's still super compelling numbers.
Yes.
So
if I just say, let's pull up slide 4. Sorry, Kerem. I don't mean to be. If we could pull up slide 4, because this gives us a great. It's a bit small on the screen, but it gives us a great kind of comparison here of what we're talking about as far as grade. I mean, here's the numbers. We can look and see. Yeah, you're by far the highest grade. That's not just a whimsical statement. So that does state a lot.
Thank you. Yeah. So just to give a context to the viewers, prior to 2006, where the zinc was at all-time high, we are very close to that number today, by the way. Prior to that, the average grade of development or production was 5% zinc. Today, it's around 2 to 3% globally. Our grade is 18% zinc. It's incredibly high, definitely highest development project in North America. So we looked at the jurisdiction, very safe jurisdiction, Ontario, Canada, tier 1. Now that we know with the critical mineral strategy that Ontario, it becomes how important it is to produce locally here. But if you can scroll up a little bit, like to show the top numbers. So out of 117 zinc development projects worldwide, half of them are on high-risk jurisdictions. You eliminate those, you eliminate the grade, you eliminate the low volume ones, you get only 5 projects that fit the criteria.
Wow.
Okay, good zinc. Good. So that alone actually shows the shortage of zinc that is coming. Okay,
yes.
We're not going to replace by 2025. More than 2 million tons are going to be gone out of production by 2025 of zinc, and there's not enough development projects that's going to replace that alone. But the growing demand is also going to create more deficit. So anyway, out of these 5 projects, 4 of them are held by multi-billion-dollar, of course, multi-project companies, and ours is the lowest market cap by a long shot. Right?
Yes, you can see here 15 billion Teck Resources and 12 million for you guys. That's a bit of a jump.
So a little bit, yeah. So that shows upside potential in this investment. Why is it a good time? This shows one reason. However, I mean, you're looking at the quality of the asset to the market cap. It can't get any better than this.
Now, if I'm going to just throw in, I was going to throw in one little wrench here and just ask, because you've kind of answered already for me, but I want to walk viewers through is the resource amount, though. So if someone was to look and go, well, you look here, Teck's got 23.45 million tons. The Nexa's got 12. You've got 2.35. So someone goes, we'd like that to be bigger.
Absolutely, it is small, but look at its feasibility level project. So feasibility level means it's on the Lassonde curve. Okay, Pierre Lassonde's very famous curve. We're at the last upcycle at the bottom of it. So feasibility stage. I think out of 3,000 exploration projects on the make to that level, one of them. So we are there. So a lot of risk has been already, averted. But what's interesting here is the feasibility level, the feasibility study. If you scroll down a little bit to show the market cap, the capital investment that is required to start production, as well as the operational cost, is the lowest among
That's the next
all
slide.
of those. Yes.
So here we go. Perfect.
I mean, this is not reflecting to today's numbers. Today's numbers are even higher than those based on what the zinc price has been doing. I urge everyone to look at zinc price. That has been overlooked for so long because everybody is focused on copper, lithium, nickel for the right reasons, right? But zinc actually appreciated a lot more than any of those, but nobody's talking about it.
Why does someone care about zinc? Like if someone's going, well, I know I need it for my body. I know, you can use it in crop, obviously then, but what else would we use it for?
So it has so many varieties. So historically, it's 50% of it was used for infrastructure, steel strengthening, galvanizing is major part, automotive. So when I see wind turbines, I see, of course, inside filled with copper, but outside is coated with zinc.
Yes.
All of that. Solar panels, okay. The demand is growing with electrical, but also the infrastructure. Where you're going to charge, that needs zinc. There is also zinc air batteries getting traction. They don't combust. You don't need any permits to move them around because they don't combust or they're not toxic. So no permit needed for transporting zinc. So and it's very cheaply storing energy. In fact, state of New York converted their energy storage into zinc air batteries. So there's that development. There's stimulus packages post-COVID that the governments are introducing that means zinc. Okay, but nobody's talking about it. So I like this quote from the big great Gretzky said, "Don't go where the puck has been, go where it's going." Right. So that's, I think, the good thing right now is that the zinc price increase that has not been correlated to the zinc equities yet. So if you want to invest in copper companies, might be already too late. Maybe you're not going to get the return that you would get from a zinc company. And what do you look at? Like previous guests really explained that very well in the zinc market. Zinc is being almost at all-time high, and the demand is growing. The deficit is going to grow year after year. So there is a really good potential for the zinc equities. And what do you need? We have the good jurisdiction, Ontario, very close to highway. We have all the infrastructure in place, tailings and all that. I don't want to be too technical, but everything that you need to build, like 2-4 years to get there, we already have them.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go into all the step-by-step details, but you're very near term. And taking a step back here as well, like with Biden announcing the Defense Act, acknowledging we need a supply chain of critical metals and minerals. This is required. And then like the following day, Canada announces $2 billion towards. They kind of took the battery metal and electric story, but that still means this. And at the end of the day, both those stories mean mining. And I'm sure they'll be looking at, listen, we can't just go out and find something because it takes years to develop, to build it out, and then to have a mine. You guys are on that other side of the curve where if you hit every stride and everything's going great, it might be 1.5 years, 2 years, you could be up and producing very quickly with a market ready to absorb that.
That's exactly. We benefit from all the infrastructure being in place. We benefit from being very close to the highway, railway station, where they historically, I'm talking about 27 kilometers with a well-maintained road to the railway station in Schreiber, Ontario, 20 kilometers from Trans-Canada Highway, 150 kilometers from Thunder Bay Port to Mine Gate along Canada Highway, Trans-Canada Highway. So it's very high grade, one of the highest grade deposits in the world, definitely in North America. Very clean concentrate, which means that we're not going to pay penalties. There's no mercury, there's no antimony.
Perfect.
Historically,
good.
As well as that means a lot, and it's going to be very cheap to produce because we already have all the infrastructure there.
Well, I'm glad you brought that part up too, because it kind of ties in that ESG factor of, okay, they're going to be looking for projects, but also like how clean is this project if we do this, especially anyone's leading the charge, because I think they have to do this if they want to make this electric future and they want to do this big push for new energy. They're going to be looking for, okay, which ones has the best metallurgy where, we can really optimize this story to get it out. Absolutely.
It's an underground mine. There's underground workings already. They're flooded as per the closure commitments that was done. You have to flood them with water so that the ground support doesn't rust and it doesn't collapse. So our first step will be dewatering those. But what's interesting is on the ESG, especially on the environmental side, is it's an underground mine. There's minimal disturbance on surface, which has already been done. We are not going to do anything further on surface to disturb the ground. In fact, we're looking at improving at this point. I had a meeting with all the agencies and the ministries yesterday. We're looking at improving things from where they are naturally. So that's on the environmental side. We benefit from having 96% of electricity in Ontario, in that region, coming from non-carbon emitting sources. Yes. So even if we didn't do anything on environmental and chose to buy carbon credits, like some of the companies are doing to be carbon neutral, it's not going to cost us much. It's going to be very minimal. So, but we are looking at improving things. We're going to use solar panels for the camp. We looked at that. We're actually talking to a contractor in Ontario to do that for us. Excellent. Looking at all kinds of stuff like that. So once we dewater, that's the next step. We applied for dewatering permit. It's a very comprehensive application. So we did all the the fish counts and everything else. So that's all been done. We're at the submitting stage with the ministries because everybody has to look at it, including transportation. You believe it or not, but it's a good thing. That's so that everybody's on the same page. So we're actually getting very close. So once we get that, the next step will be dewater the underground workings and go underground. I want to be one of the first ones to go underground when that happens, which we're looking at this summer.
Now, I mean, when we just kind of jump back in, it's got an 8.5 year mine life. The payback is 3 years. So someone who's looking goes, that's a great investment. But, and we talked just briefly beforehand, I said, well, is that the end of the story? Like, can we get, like, I'm already thinking like as an investor, can we get that 2.3 up? Is there any way we can get that up a little bit?
Absolutely. So this is a VMS deposit. VMS deposits come in 4 to 6 horizons, meaning deposits. Only 2 has been discovered to date, but there's
Okay.
a lot of surface indicators, as well as some underground, that there is more to be found. Okay, there's geophysics, surface sample, which both confirm, show very similar anomalies that were with the existing ones right now. So we're going to go after those as we start construction later this year. We're going to do some exploration to just fine tune some of the targets before we drill. But more exploration will be done from underground, because that's where the highest grade zone is, to be more, cost effective, because we're going to dewater it anyways. Why not? We're going underground. So look, it's highly underexplored. Yes, it's just under 9 years of mine life as it currently sits, but incredible returns. We're talking about, with today's numbers, 50% after tax rate of return. Okay, NPV, it's around $400 million. It's going to generate more than $120 million EBITDA over the course of the mine life. With which there's like, with minimal work, we can extend the mine life for sure, that we know with today's. It's the highest grade. That's what we benefit from. Great jurisdiction, fantastic team that has done that before with Zinc.
Yes.
Okay, we've done that. So we know what we're doing. We know this is Canada's next mine, high-grade zinc mine.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, like when you're saying what it's going to generate as far as 121 million, you're sitting at a 14 million market cap, which is kind of funny. Someone goes, "Well, wait." Once again, this is what I love about the disconnect, when people, and they don't have the general retail investor doesn't know to look. So this is why I'm here to try to tell people, like, listen, if you were to find this in other businesses, you'd be crazy. So you need to look at these things. And this is interesting too, because, I talk to a lot of explorers, whether it's brownfield or greenfield, but this is very near term production with a big upside. And that is rarer, of actually someone in the mining world who's actually going to mine and have a mine going for a critical resource in this time period that we're in, where finally we're getting a big recognition from governments that and if you just took away the whole battery metal story and all that and just said, let's keep it real boring and just talk infrastructure and bridges and building out stuff, the amount of zinc that you'd need for galvanizing that would be incredible. So if you just took Biden's infrastructure bill and said, where are you getting all that zinc from? Well, there you go. They're going to need an answer for that.
Exactly. It's overlooked. It's not talked, but that also creates the opportunity, right?
Yes.
You don't want to get in when this stock is maybe 20 cents. It's now, floating around 8.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's going to go to $2, right? It has happened in the past with this kind of good quality projects at this stage. So that's what we're shooting for. Excellent.
Well, Kerem, thank you so much for coming on. Very compelling story. Really appreciate it. And look forward to checking out for any news that's happening in the meantime, and good luck moving forward.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Enjoy your day.